Bristol, Virginia has started. We started yesterday, Monday and Tuesday. I wasn't able to go because I just had surgery, but Brian, I just texted him to see if he wants me to say anything to you. But it'll be in person at the elementary school, Washington Lee, and in the afternoons at the middle school.
Okay. That sounds good. I know that you all in Bristol, just for a little background for them, they work with the after school program, which is the federally funded um, Century 21, right? No, 21st Century.
I don't know that. I know it's the after school program, but I don't know the name.
For some
I
reason, I'm
just,
confused with my internet provider right now because I was just looking at a bunch of information, but I feel like that the relationship there is one of the main reasons why um, your program continued in person, just sort of as the school system did. Did Bristol City face any closures or anything like that with COVID this fall?
oh yes, yes, they just opened, in fact, Monday
Gotcha.
to go back to school. So they've gone back and forth between in person and online. So when they were in online, um, we didn't have anything, and I would like to do something. That's my only input for the meeting. I'd like if there were some guidance on how I could, or Brian and I could do something to help them when they have a month away or something like that.
Right. So they're not getting any kind of virtual programming through the after school program in any other area whenever they're virtual.
I don't know if it's about any. I know most of their programs don't go virtual for sure.
Well, we can definitely help you figure that out.
Right.
I Hang on a second. Someone's looking for the link. If someone else would like to sort of take the lead and maybe quickly just introduce yourself and perhaps the status of your program if you have not shared already. I know that we have a lot of folks that just joined the meeting and not everyone knows each other, so that might be helpful.
I'll start. I'm Bobby. I'm with the Avery Jams program, and I'll just be honest with you. We've had so many start and stop. It's a little frustrating right now, and I myself are actually in quarantine once again. So the only thing I've been doing at the moment is referring the kids to the jamkids.org, and I hope they'll tap into the short videos that are available at that site. So that's what's been going on. We did start with some face to face, and there again, we had to shut back down due to the rising numbers of the virus. So we're just anxious, like everyone else. And a lot of my instructors do not feel comfortable making the videos, but I think I would still like to pursue that so we can, refer our youth to the more personal videos and stuff they can work on. So
Right.
that's where we're at.
Is it just that they don't feel like they're qualified to be making teaching videos, or they don't have equipment?
Um, there again, we would record them. We've got the ability to record them. I think I just need to start. I think once we start, they'll be like, "Oh, this isn't so bad,"
Right.
So, um,
If it would be helpful, I can definitely send you some more links that might not be on the website, but just what some of the other program instructors have been doing as far as recording.
well, that'd be great.
Under,
Great, especially your very beginning
right.
videos would be awesome. And just the whole tuning aspect and that kind of thing. So I'd appreciate that.
Yeah. Do you know if they have specific songs that they're working on, or is it all just sort of basic, fundamental?
Well, a lot of the basic songs were the ones that were in the small jam book, the blue book. So, and usually just start, of course, with 1 and 5 songs. So,
That's helpful. I'll get some stuff to you all.
Thanks, Brett. Appreciate that.
Okay. I'm just gonna call on people like a teacher. Jack, would you like to go next? Even though you have already shared what Allegheny Jam is doing, you can just.
Yeah, I'm Jack Kahn. I'm with Allegheny Jam, the original Jam program. And before my days, in March, we switched over to completely online, which we had a steep learning curve. I think we did very well, but we learned very quickly that you can't have 6 students in an online class. I don't know how teachers do it in school, but it sure doesn't work for teaching music. So starting in the fall semester, we went to one-on-one private classes. There are a couple of them that have 2 students rather than 1. Most of them were online. A couple of instructors opted for doing in-person lessons, but everything is one-on-one. We were able to do 25 students, I think, last time. This time, 28. You can't make money doing that. We're going to lose money, but our board decided to go forward anyhow, just to keep the teachers employed and keep the Jam program going until we get through this COVID virus.
Jack, do your students pay a fee for the lessons?
Yes, they pay the same fee that we used when we were having regular full classes. I think our full pay is $130 for the semester. And then there's various discounts based on your income, or we have a sibling discount also for families. Our teachers got very adept quickly at making videos. And then Aaron Marshall guided us through our concert in December with everybody recording their students playing 3 different tunes, basically. And then Aaron compiled it. And if you're interested, I can give you a link for our concert. It was a hoot because just because the personalities of these kids come through, you know, in the videos. And so that was our first try at that. I think it went off very well. I'm sure we'll do the same thing at the end of the semester. That's enough for me right now.
Thank you. If you could send that link, I think everyone would enjoy checking it.
I'll try and find it. And what do you want me to just share it as a screen share, or send it to you? I'll send it to you, and you can broadcast it.
Okay.
Okay.
I know we did share it like on Facebook whenever it was originally shared.
Yeah.
Go back and find it, but I'll do that again.
Okay.
Debbie is next on my panel over here.
Okay. You guys probably don't know me. I'm actually the chair of the board for Jam in Southern Jackson County. We're open to the community. We were meeting at the local public school, but were banned, of course, because of COVID all last year. So we were homeless. We did pull off the fall semester by meeting in a outdoor facility like a park, and we all spread out under the boardwalks. And every Monday, thank goodness, it was good weather until the very end, and we went inside and spread out. So we quit before Thanksgiving because we figured everybody'd scatter and be exposed. And so the board decided to continue online through December and January. Now we've extended it through February. The problem I see with online, I'm doing 2 little violin students one-on-one, 2 different days. We have 5 that are online, but they're homeschooled kids. We're having problems with the kids that are online taking at school for multiple days or all week, wanting to get online again to learn, to take lessons. And so that's been not real successful. We have 1 guitar player, 1 mandolin, this sort of thing, not any big. So that's been our biggest problem. I don't know what the status is of spring semester. We had Our program director just resigned. She's a music teacher at the public school, and due to being totally overwhelmed with trying to deal with teaching, she resigned. So we're scrambling now. We had to get all of our instruments out of the facility, and they're stored over at a church. And so we'll see where we go. Hopefully everybody keep your fingers crossed. We can get a new director pretty quick, and yeah, thank you, and get back running. But I don't know what the status will be for spring yet. That's, I'm shooting for fall, hoping that fall will be back. And the Boys and Girls Club here are building a brand new facility, and they're breaking ground next month, and they're very interested in having our program under their roof. So next year we might have a permanent home, but this year we'll be floating, probably back outside under the boardwalks where it's safe. We did in the fall had about 15 kids that participated. So, and right now we're about 10. So we're dwindled down. We're giving all the online lessons and in person for free. We're taking it out of our own pockets just to keep the kids going best we can. So that's our status. Do you know Brett, do you know anything about the Jackson County Jam down in Cullowhee and Silva? Are they operating at all anymore?
No, from my understanding, they decided back this summer to just skip this year entirely.
Okay.
So
Well, I
it's
knew that they were struggling to find a director, and we got our own 501 status last year. So it's always a possibility. I know they've struggled to find a fiscal agent that we could maybe make them a satellite of us instead of the other way around, how originally was thought. That's why we didn't become Jackson County Jam, because they existed. So we took the Blue Ridge name instead. So future possibilities to get that back going down the mountain. There's more people down there. There's the University of Western Carolinas down there. So they definitely have more resources than we do up here at the end of the world where we are.
yeah, I know how it is to be located remotely. I will try to check in with them and make sure that they have not moved forward on any programming, and maybe try to connect you all a little bit more.
Yeah, the last I heard, a parent was trying to keep it going. Betty Brown was the interim, and her health couldn't keep it going, and so that's the last I'd heard.
So I think all of that combined with COVID, they just decided to skip this year.
I didn't want to do that, and I guess everybody else did, because you want to remain viable. You want the program to seem like it's still existing and not disappearing.
Right.
But then again, I think, okay, maybe we'll just take a break and be a renewal in the fall, a grand opening again. So we'll see.
Yeah, I know that a lot of you all are struggling, and that's sort of the reason for this today, is just to find out that you're not the only one that can't figure out what in the world to do, especially right now.
Well, it's even going for grants. I mean, last year, you asked for grants and say, well, we're doing this online and we're still doing something. But then this year, how do you ask for grants for a program that's not happening, So makes income pretty tenuous.
I agree. It's really tough when you can't make a plan. You don't know if you're going to be able to do your programming or your events, and what are you supposed to ask for? Yeah. Tough times. Brandon, can you share about Boone?
Yeah, so I'm Brandon Holder with the Boone Jam program here at the Jones House. We are online, not doing group in-person classes. So we have some students taking privately through Zoom, not a whole lot. Some have come and gone. They've taken, 5 lessons or so, and then wanted to take a break. But we've been doing that since, I guess, start of the summer is when we kind of started doing that. So we purchased some USB microphones and some, material books and that kind of things that kind of help the teachers along with that. And I think it's gone pretty well. It's been really hard on the beginners, but for more of the intermediate students who are really into it, it's been nice to be able to offer something. I started teaching just a couple people one-on-one here using masks. And now another teacher is going to try. So we're creeping into that just slowly, no rush. and we certainly won't be doing groups in that fashion. Since the summer, we've been contacting some local and regional musicians to do short little 5 or 10 minute lesson videos that we've been putting out on social media and on our YouTube page called Mini Music Lessons. And I think we've got 6 or 7 different instruments, including flatfoot dance and some upright bass lessons and dulcimer things we even haven't been able to have group classes for, but people have shown interest in. And those are all available for anyone to look at. And I'll even post a link in the chat for that.
I shared your dance video, and you wouldn't believe the response I got from it. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was very cool. Glad Rodney was able to do that. One thing we are going to try new this semester is we're going to do some virtual sing-alongs on Zoom. So we've hired some professional musicians to lead those who are either live together or married, so that no one has to expose themselves to lead one. So the first one's going to be Patrick and Kay Crouch, and it's going to be on February 4th, I believe. And then there's another one later in February with Zoe and Cloyd, and I'll put that link in the chat too. But they're free and open for anyone to attend. And basically, we're choosing songs out of the Jam Songbook, and I'm even having the PDFs available on the website. But the instructors will just kind of lead the songs, talk about harmony and how to play them, and then everyone else will kind of be muted but encouraged to play and sing along at home, either by themselves or with their family. And then other than that, I'm just kind of going through the rental instruments and seeing if anything needs fixing or if we need to get some new things or strings or whatever else to be hopefully ready in the fall for group lessons.
Sounds good. Let me know if you need anything in that department. No, it seems like you have somebody who does a little bit of work on instruments, right? Is that still current?
We have a couple people I'm trying to gather, so I'm just not taking one over at a time, but 2 or 3 things that need work on. But
and for everyone, I sort of have a new line in on that sort of thing. If folks need work done on any of their student instruments, especially if they're ones that belong to us, then I'll be happy to try to help with that if it's in a relative distance of Abingdon, Virginia. So let me know.
In terms of picking it up, or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I just had a local repair luthier person volunteer basically to work on jam instruments. So
Awesome.
put that out there if anyone had anything that was worth fixing, but we can talk about it if you are interested. Maybe just send me an email. I'll get in touch with you. Okay. Donna, I feel like you pretty much already discussed what's going on in Bristol.
Yeah, Brian had a little update with his text. Do you want me to share it with you?
Yes.
So he didn't tell me what happened Monday, but he told me what happened Tuesday. Monday is the elementary kids. We have a really big crowd there. Tuesday, we started with a big crowd, but then we diminished down because there's more fun things to do, I guess, for kids. So we had a few students yesterday, and there's just been Brian and me. And now we might have another child that came back and went through the program, Matt. I don't know if you remember him, but if he joins us, that'll be great. So we just had a couple fiddles and 1 guitar yesterday, and that was it.
Right.
And that's his update.
Okay. Well, hey, keep on however you can. So that's good. Okay. Diana?
Okay, sorry if I my unmute button. I am an administrator for the WISE program in Virginia. I also sort of help out with the Big Stone Gap program, but it's a little bit kind of a separate entity from us and WISE. We didn't really switch to virtual in March 2020. We stopped the in-person classes, obviously, but I continued sending out enrichment packets by mail just to like finish up their enrichment, kind of what they were working on that semester. And since then, both of our programs have been dormant. We haven't done anything, but I wanted to sit in on this and kind of see how you guys are doing with your own virtual lessons, because I'm considering it for spring or possibly fall if we need a little more time to get everything up and running. But I miss the kids so much, and I would love to keep it active in some way, like Debbie was saying. So it's like, don't forget about us, we're still here. Especially with our WISE program, it's pretty small compared to the Big Stone Gap program, and I wouldn't want to lose the kids who are finally starting to get it. So this has all been really great. I like hearing what you guys have had success with. Little nervous about the person who said 6 students at once isn't possible. Is there any way, has anyone had any success with doing a group? I mean, our classes aren't big anyway, it wouldn't be very many, but has anyone had success with having multiple students practicing at the same time or doing live lessons, or has it mostly been recorded, pre-recorded has been the most successful?
Well, we did in the fall. We did it outside and spread out the chairs, and boy, the kids really miss playing together. That's the hardest thing, is that camaraderie and that making music together. So, but yeah, hopefully if the spring is early spring, we'll do it outside again, and at least we can get the chairs spread out and we're under a cover and playing outdoor concerts.
Was your question just about online? Because I had 14 guitar students in the elementary class that I handled. Do you want to know about that, or just?
I would love to know how you worked that out with.
Well, I got my teacher degree in 2015, but I haven't had a chance to teach. But I learned some methods just in basically, one of the things I like to use is peer tutoring. And so, I had a mix of kids that I had before in this big class. There were just a few, and there were some that had some experience. And so it was, noise doesn't scare me, and movement doesn't bother me. So as long as they were safe and treating the instruments correctly, I would give each group something to do. And then I would give them look, I want your attention for 30 seconds. Do you have that for me? And they would get quiet, and I would teach them something in 30 seconds to think about, and then come back to it 10 minutes later and see who remembers what I taught you about 10 minutes ago. So some basic teaching tools to teach a large group of students and get them involved. And they seem very engaged, the elementary kids. They're just 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade.
And then are you guys mostly using Zoom or Google Classroom? What has been the most successful as far as platforms?
I think the majority of JAM folks are using Zoom. It seems to me that after looking into the Google Classrooms, that if someone was already set up like through their public school system, that it would work fine because all the students are registered and they have their email addresses and it's all one organization suite. But if you don't have that, then it's really difficult to get into. So I think Zoom is the go-to. And I do believe that, I know that it's hectic, having more than 6, as Jack talked about, in the virtual learning, like in the Zoom room. But I mean, I think some folks are doing it. They just pretty much keep the kids muted the whole time.
I've had an interesting twist that the 2 little, one's brand new 3rd grader starter violinist. They both, for some reason, want to look at the music. We've always, by ear watching, and I'm like, okay, here's the music. If you want to look at the notes, there's some reason they're very interested in that. So I'm not curbing any kind of divergence and interest in what they want to do, and songs too. This one little girl heard Ode to Joy, and she wanted to play that. And I'm like, okay, I'm good. Let's play Ode to Joy. And so at this point, we're kind of letting them, or at least I'm letting, and the other violin teacher that does 5 just online, go where they want to go, just to keep their interest up.
I really like the idea of having the kids pick a tune that they want to learn rather than one I want to teach them.
Mm-hmm. I always ask
it works
them.
Much better.
I give them a choice, X, Y, Z, and she just happened to hear that tune and it was interesting to her. So
Yeah, you're definitely going to have more success in teaching kids something that they know how it goes in their head, first, rather than some obscure fiddle tune that they're not used to hearing yet. So,
well, some of them, like my fifth grader, she very much listens to what she's hearing and, looks at your fingers. And if it doesn't ring in her brain that she can follow it, she's not interested. So it's got to be a tune that's catchy to them and they feel like they can remember it.
okay, thank you all so far. Diana, do you have any more questions pertinent to things in Wise County? Are the schools in Wise County in person right now, or are they virtual?
They're back to in person as far as I know right now. I don't know how long it'll be that way. Numbers around here have been pretty high, but at least finally going down a little bit. I don't know if anyone has pro tips or how to get started, anything like that. That would maybe help. I need to look around. If you wouldn't, can you send me that stuff too, Brett, that you mentioned? I'm trying to remember who mentioned it, but anything at all, honestly, any sort of resources that have helped you guys to get started. I don't know. I think that's it. This has been really good though.
Good. Glad to hear that. Yeah, I'll send you a whole plethora of info, and perhaps you can survey your kids who were in it last spring and see how many might be interested in having some kind of virtual aspect until we can go back in person. Okay, thank you. I've got somebody here who says iPad 2. I can't tell who you are. I think they're talking with their own mute.
You're muted. You need to unmute.
There he is. Okay, try again.
Yeah, hi. I'm Tim Cummings. I work with Bobby.
Oh, hey, Tim.
in Avery County. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can tell
Okay.
who you are now, too. Okay,
So I may be the number 2 guy you were looking at or trying to figure out.
I think so. I couldn't see the top part of your head. I know that Bobby has already spoken about Avery County, but if you have something
Yeah.
you want to share,
I
you
just,
do so.
I just have a general question for you, Brett. I didn't count them, but I guess there's a half a dozen or so of us on this call, which means we represent a small percentage of the overall program. Could you just talk generally about what's going on in the balance of the programs?
Well, I'm a little unclear on that. Was sort of another purpose of this, is to kind of find out what folks are doing right now. And I think, for the most part, a lot of things are either only virtual or they're just sort of suspended as we all wait and see what happens with the vaccination and the COVID numbers and everything like that, and cold weather. And, it was a lot easier for folks to go and attempt in-person programming, when they could do it outdoors this past fall. So I know that has changed with winter, and sort of checking in with everybody, and I'll be able to provide a more accurate update after this.
I know it's tough for everybody, just curious.
Getting old, isn't it? Getting old.
Yeah. I guess let me just add, Britt, it's very nice for you to set these calls up because it's a very convenient way for Bobby and myself, and who are learning the ropes, so to speak, of learning from the professors or the people that's been down this road. So it's most helpful to us.
It is one strange benefit, I think, of all of this is the forcing folks to the virtual communication. It has, we haven't done a whole lot of it, but it's pretty cool to see all of you folks who may not normally interact with each other have that opportunity. So try to see the positive light of some of it.
So do you think that many of the groups are working in person?
I don't know of very many. Just learned, of course, that Bristol has started back up. The program in Stokes County is doing it in person. They're very, very small groups of kids.
We're starting back up tomorrow and we're going to try. We have a good situation. We stayed, I'm in Henderson County and in North Carolina. We were outside until these kids just did not, we did virtual for a long time. And then we just stayed outside. And it got to be kind of a camaraderie that I don't think we could have had before. They just really wanted to be in person. I mean, I wound up, we were like meeting in parking lots of a brewery because we were supposed to be in the education building at the Flat Rock Playhouse, and we wound up in the parking lot of a brewery, and the parents would all come to watch the street and bring all the other kids, and it turned into this big event. And I had 7 in my fiddle group, but they all were masks. They were okay with that. We had hand sanitizer. I had a pod person, that knew them, who's 16, who played, and she did their adjustments. We did all the social distancing thing. It was really a lot of work, actually, to do it that way. But and then we did a little bit of virtual, but we were fortunate, and there's a really big brewery downtown in Henderson County, and half of it had been a restaurant. It's got a huge high ceiling front open garage door on half of it that he's not using, and they let us use that warehouse. We did it twice in there in December because it just got so cold, even with coats. We had coats on inside, but it has huge fans, and we felt okay about it. And also 9 of the kids had already had COVID. So we felt a little bit from like a family connection or something. We felt a little bit better about it. But we even drew walkways, where people could go, where you could be. And the kids really got into it. It seemed like they'd have everything taken away from them that was fun. And coming to Jam became really, really more important than I might have been able to make it before. So we're going to try and meet there tomorrow. We'll meet out in the parking lot. It's going to be too cold to play and just talk about going in. But we're trying to use all of it together. I have some kids who don't have good internet. And so I actually burned CDs, all the tunes we were using, just tons of CDs for them. And then I have other kids that are real computer literate, but it's been pretty interesting.
I forgot to say that I was in North Carolina too. That's in Jackson County. I forgot there are multiple states represented.
Oh, you're out in Jackson. You're not too far.
Yeah, no, it's when you said that, it made me think, oh yeah, I'm in North Carolina too. How many states are not allowing? See, we were basically not allowed to be on the public school campus because we were an outside source, because we take kids, homeschooled and from the charter school too. So that's why we became homeless. Is everybody else experiencing that, or are there schools letting outside volunteers and groups meet on their campuses?
I don't know anywhere where that is being allowed. I know it was disallowed for one of our programs in Tennessee, and they had to find another home as well. So I think
we were never in a public school. We were in the Flat Rock Playhouse, which is a state theater in North Carolina.
Yeah,
they built an education building, and they partnered with us to be their music program, and haven't been open since last summer. So we've been kind of adopted by the downtown. We're street people downtown. We play in parking lots, and it turned out to be a really interesting thing. People really loved it. I mean, they came to see the kids. It's like, oh, it's 3:00 on Thursday. Joe, let's walk down there in our mask and see. They got a standing ovation for their first twinkle. I have like 7 kids in one of my fiddle classes, and it just really got. I don't know that it would have been as exciting. I mean, I'm afraid they'll be bored when we go back to a real classroom. Instead of, what are we doing now? What parking lot are we going to? We even met in a flood one time out there, and I called the county, and they gave us a picnic shelter, but they didn't tell me all the roads into it were flooded. We went driving all over and finding a road. So it's been a kind of a different adventure than we expected, but it's turned out okay. we've gotten way more attention than we would have gotten outside of town in the education building for sure.
Well, that's why our Village Green, it's called, and it's an outdoor park and picnic area and all that. And the kids setting up out there and everybody's walking their dogs and walking by hearing the kids playing. So yeah, we've been gotten a little exposure from that
I
too.
love it. I mean, people have liked it way more than I thought. So
Yeah, I think the appreciation for arts and live music and
Yeah, I'm thinking about starting spring semester later. So hopefully it'll be warmer and we can do more outside.
I think that would be a common option for a lot of folks.
Yeah, because we started in February, but I'm thinking March at the earliest, maybe.
And that I sort of wondered also if anybody had thought ahead for, you know, usually of course Jam goes with the public school calendar year, but what about summertime? You know, if things sort of open up and just sort of a thought as far as providing programming that way during those months, might be an option, especially if it's outdoors.
So how could we do that? Because I just meet in the after school programs, so I'm not sure how we could do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how your alls would work because you're so much tied in with the school system and the after school.
They do have a summer school program, but
That would be worth looking into perhaps. But for the most part, you know, actually you all are sort of not common in that way in Bristol and working with the school system because most Jam programs are community based and they're outside of public school. So it would probably be an option for a lot of folks to think about at least.
I think it might be more successful because the parents are used to having the kids at home, no regularity on getting on the bus and going to school. So that's the biggest hang up is if you get the parents to bring the kids to wherever you're meeting. So maybe a summer thing might be successful because they're ready to get them out of the house.
Yeah, okay, well that's something to keep in mind. Okay, let's hear from a few people who haven't shared yet about their program. Kim, do you want to give a brief update about Johnson City?
Sure. Can you hear me? I'm on my phone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yes. Okay, good. Hi, I'm Kim Allison. I'm in Jam of Upper East Tennessee here in Johnson City. And when everything closed down last spring, we moved everything online we were using Skype at the time. One of our teachers was familiar with that from doing private lessons. And we made it through the rest of the spring semester in that fashion. And then we started back up on Zoom this past semester. We're able to use that platform through ETSU. I work at a K through 12 school as a teacher, so we're able to use that for our platform. And it's been a little better because I'm able to be part of that. So basically I send out one Zoom link to everybody and then when the students all get there, I put them in different breakout rooms with their teachers. And we do have the group experience. Some are very small, like 2, and we have one that's 6. And I think the teachers are just very, they have to be very cognizant of them not playing together at the same time, obviously. So it could be that they're playing something and then they mute and they play back themselves. Or they may have them play, take turns playing one at a time. But obviously the playing together piece is not in existence right now, unfortunately. So we don't have the band piece as part of it like we normally do. It's just strictly small group instruction. And we have 2 programs going right now, one in Johnson City and one at University School. And the Johnson City one has definitely started right before the pandemic began. And so it's still remained very small. It's at 6 students right now. And university school is slightly down in enrollment at 12, but I'm just thankful that anyone is signing up at this point, and continuing. So we have 2 more that we're starting, but because it would be very difficult to start a new program online, we have put those off until the fall. So we're hopeful that those can be in person. But for the rest of the semester, we made the call in, I guess, late November, early December, that we would need to be online for next semester, which is what we're in right now. So it could be at some point, maybe later in the spring, that we're able to start meeting. But as of now, we've made the decision for the semester to be remote. Is that all you needed, Brett? Did you have other things I was supposed to say? I missed the beginning part.
I'm muted. Never mind. You're good. Thank you, Kim.
Okay.
Brian from Pulaski County, you're being called upon.
Happy birthday, everybody. Yeah, I'm Brian Hampton, and I'm a JM guy from Greater Pulaski in Virginia. When all the crap came down, we just stopped. And I stopped doing Facebook, and I haven't posted anything. And however, we have had a few board meetings just to keep some kind of an energy. We're not even we got a brand new middle school. That's not happening this year. We're not even gonna ask. So another board member has found a county-owned house next door to the public library in Pulaski. So hopefully we're gonna move there, and we wanted to start in January. Well, that's not happening. So we're attempting right now. We're in the process of another board member has written up a skit to do a school program, and we're going to film it with a band. Hopefully when it's done, I keep telling them I'm staying out of it, but I'm telling them the only thing, we need to make it generic so we can offer it to Jam Inc. and Brett can put it on the website, and anybody that wants a school program for bluegrass is what we're offering right now. They can use it. So if this program goes well, and it's about a 5 or 6 minute little deal, so they can zoom it in or Facebook or YouTube it into the classrooms at their leisure, the instructors and the principals and all, whatever, so that we can get the interest up. I'll go around and take the paperwork to all the schools. We'd like to start in, I guess, late February or March. And as far as answering the question about summertime, we're going to throw that around with the board members also, and I don't see a problem with that. So, well, we had already made a commitment that we were going to expand this year to offer mandolin. So we've already bought the instruments. So we've got it all. Now, all the instruments that were loaned out are still there. And I've called some of the folks, the parents, and then I've talked to a couple of the kids. I call the parents, and if they're home, can I talk to them? And I've talked to a couple of them. I've kept up with a couple of them that I live close to, and I interact with them. And the two brother-sister gang down here are just chomping at the bit to get something going. And as far as what I heard, I think it was Coach Coffee, I think you said you miss them tremendously. Absolutely.
That was
And
Diana, but I missed them too.
yeah, I absolutely, it's just like, please, because, I'm half the man I was before we quit. So, because I just adore them. And as far as a couple of them have said they've, gone to some YouTube, and I tell them, listen, you have to be extremely careful if you go out there without an instructor, because people can post anything on YouTube. And if you go in the wrong direction, it'll be hard to correct it. I'm doing the best I can as a program director to keep things energized a little bit so that some of them are willing to come back, so we're just inching along, and hopefully we've got a place, and hopefully we've had glitches with getting this the school program filmed, and the schools allowed us to use their little theater, and we've got the mandolin person is willing, but now we've had to try to work with a time frame for the banjo player. So we'll do the best we can with it, and as soon as we get a school program together, we'll offer it to Jam Inc. so that if y'all need to use it, you'll be able to use it. So it's just I'm chomping at the bit too, because I have a great desire to return to this bunch. So one of my other goals, though, is to get on Jam Inc. and get all the contacts from all of y'all and some other ones, and start getting more in contact with each other so that we can share ideas, and maybe we can share some things that aren't going well, so maybe we can get some input. So I'd like to get us, as autonomous as we are chapter wise, I'd like to see us get more in sync. Like this right here is real good for me to hear things from all of y'all. So I appreciate all y'all being here. So thanks a lot, and I hope y'all have a fabulous day.
You too.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. You are part of, I've struggled with this way to keep people engaged, online as far as discussion. And the latest thing within the past year is you all are part of a Google group, which facilitates that. And, other than social media, I just can't seem to find a good platform that works for everyone. And I know folks have had trouble accessing that Google group. But it's how I sent you all the emails about the thing today, if that's how you got it. So if you'll go to groups.google.com, it should show up for you, especially since you're using the jamkids.org domain. So check that out. And you can use that as a way to send messages to folks and encourage communication. But also on that note, we are going to start offering a weekly session, and I think at the same time as today, every Wednesday. And of course, not everyone is available, and there's no time in the world that everyone is going to be available and interested. So I think I'm going to try to alternate. 1 week will be sort of Jam administrator based topics, and the next week will be for teachers. So we'll have a whole list of topics, and I'm going to send a survey out so that you all can sort of prioritize what you are interested in. But as far as any kind of training, informational type stuff, and it will be good to be archived for later usage, and that way everyone who isn't able to attend can check it out later on the website. So I don't know if you all have any feedback about that. And I also realize I have neglected our board of directors treasurer, who is working away right now. I've been watching him talk on the phone and type on the computer. If he wants to quickly introduce himself, I'm going to have him be a guest star on a payroll protection program webinar that I think we may focus on first to give you all information about how that works, because they have federally reinstated that option, and JAM programs are eligible for that kind of funding. I know it's something that has a lot of red tape and maybe folks don't easily understand, myself included. So that might be our first topic next week if we can get that together. But I will let Anthony quickly introduce himself and say anything else he wants to say.
Hey everyone, my name is Anthony Edwards and I serve on the Regional JAM board. I was chairman for about 6 or 7 years, I think, Brett, 6 or 7, something like that. Served as chair and been with the organization since 2013. So 6 years as chair and a year as treasurer. Brett and I work together a lot, real close with the executive finance committee at JAM. And so I had the opportunity to sit in on this call today, so I wanted to hear some feedback from the affiliates, as our executive finance committee has a kind of a planning call tomorrow night to get some feedback from you guys and talk about some planning for the rest of the fiscal year. And I'll be on the next call when Brett tells me to be there. I'll be on the next call to talk about the Paycheck Protection Program, which could be beneficial for some of you that are housed under 501c3s and arts councils, and just depending on how your organization is set up. JAM, from a regional side, we participated in the PPP program in 2020, and it was great for our organization. As we have a couple of staff members, it was a good kind of shot in the arm for our financials for the year. And I want to be able to share some of that knowledge with you guys so that you might can take it back to your affiliates and arts councils, and it might be a tool for you for financial stability here at the beginning of 2021, as things are a little still shaky in the market. So if you want to contact me individually, always feel free to. My email address is anthony@jamkids.org. And hopefully I'll be on some more of these calls in the future. So thanks, everyone.
Anthony, we did that in Allegheny, take advantage of the PPP, and it is a great shot in the arm financially, and it helped us keep our faculty working.
Good, yeah. And there's a lot of misinformation, it seems like. I had someone ask me the other day, they're like, well, I was told that we wouldn't be eligible. And I'm like, no, you're definitely eligible. So we want to, prevent that sort of thinking and lead everyone to all of the resources out there that might be helpful in carrying your organization or fiscal agent through this crazy times.
I hate to say I don't even know what you're talking about, really. I'm sorry. I'm a performer, and I really, I've been a teacher. I'm good at all the education part, the grant and the writing and all that. Not the writing, but just there's a lot to know with all this. And I'd like to know more about that, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll just throw a quick hook out there right quick. So my day job is a banker. So I'm over here in Galax, Virginia, and I work with, I lead our SBA team, and we did about 1,300 of these PPP loans last year for small businesses and nonprofits throughout the 3-state area for our bank, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Virginia. And the Paycheck Protection Program is a SBA program that is based off your average monthly payroll times 2.5 for affiliates like us. And so if you have $1,000 average monthly payroll, you would qualify, as long as you meet the other eligible factors, you'd qualify for a $2,500 loan from the bank that's guaranteed 100% by the SBA. And once you use those funds and you track how you've spent those funds, you can turn in a forgiveness application after X amount of time, and the SBA will step in and remit the payoff to the bank and pay the bank off for that loan. So we've seen quite a lot of that, and it's been real beneficial. Like I said, the regional outfit, we had a $13,300 PPP loan, and we spent it on payroll and rent and utilities over the 24-week covered period. And we recently turned that into the bank we worked with on it. We turned that in, and we're waiting for the thumbs up on the approval and the payoff from the government. And given my personal experience, I've done 1,300 of those, and I've seen, almost 400 of them pay off from the SBA so far. And it's been a really great program, and really want to get some information to you guys. I'm back and forth with the SBA right now, trying to figure out what all their rules are on nonprofit physical years for a lot of folks that end on June 30th physical years. So in this new program that's came out, so I'm trying to get some clarification there for some folks. But look forward to talking to you more about that at our next meeting, and whatever we can do to get some information out there. Free money is always good, as some people like to say it. So it could be really beneficial to our programs.
Yeah, I actually have a bank vice president on my board. The vice president of First Citizens in Henderson County is my budget, all that. It's all new to all of us. And I think he was going crazy doing those loans. I don't think we really ever thought that but it sounds like we could be part of that.
Yeah, and as some of you folks may, after the Zoom call, you might hit Google and type in SBA PPP. One of the main things that I will mention is some councils, some places pay their folks W-2 wages. Some pay them a 1099. So if it's a 1099, it wouldn't qualify for the affiliate, but we could provide some information about how, if you're paying a teacher a 1099, how that teacher can qualify on their own as an independent contractor. So kind of the trickle down effect there. So, and we've run into that with, we ran into that with a couple of arts councils this year, where most of their full-time staff and stuff was paid W-2, but they would have a contractor come in and teach a course or something, and they would give them a 1099. So we couldn't count the independent contractor as part of the parent entity, but we could count them separately as an independent contractor. So again, we want to try to present some information to you so that you have all the tools you need for financial sustainability.
Thank you.
Okay. I have a whole list of ideas that I will send out, via Google Forms, probably for you all to help me decide on what to prioritize first. And also, if any of you as teachers or administrators feel like you would like to share your expertise on any kind of topic or subject, that would be great. Just let me know, and I'll definitely feature you in our series. I like hearing everyone's interesting ringtones and sounds that you have.
Sorry, I have all these bird calls.
It was nice. Well, we've already taken up an hour, and I don't know if you're like me, it's a pretty day outside. If you all have anything else specifically that you would like to pose as a question, or share as a challenge or success, or for further thinking.
Well, Brett, I want to say I want to do a 30-second spot from my software and see if anybody would be interested in that being actually a meeting.
Yeah, your software is on my list of things to explore.
Okay. Yeah, just for those of you who are administrators, just briefly, I have written a database program that's web-based. I can put it on any cheap computer that somebody has discarded. And what it does, it can track your instruments, it can track your students, donors, faculty. It has tools for assigning your classes. It has a tuition module that you can track who's full pay, partial pay, who's made a recent payment, how much do they still owe, and can send letters. The thing that I've added most recently has been a portal for faculty to put out the curriculum that they want each individual student to learn, because we're doing individual. And then when the student logs in, they see basically their homework with links to videos, tablature, lyrics, MP3s, whatever the teacher wants to put out there for them. So that in 45 seconds is what I've been working on for the last 3 years. And I'm so proud of it. I'll be glad to give private lessons to anybody on it. And it's available for free. It's an open source software. So it won't cost you anything. I will support it for you. until I die. And then you can get some hack who writes PHP to fix it for you. And that's all I'll say about it right now.
Well, I'm pretty interested in that
Um,
when we get our new director.
yeah, this is one for the directors.
Our
to
last one
make
did not
decision.
keep records really well, and that sounds like something that would really help.
Well, everybody's into spreadsheets because that's what we do. And they have their limitations when you try to look up somebody's phone number or their email or who did we loan that fiddle to or which one needed repair. And I think I've been able to throw that all together. So it's my hobby.
I've seen it working, and it's really.
Thank you.
Is it Mac friendly?
It's any browser because it has to, I'll install it on a Linux box, then that's real cheap. Or I could even put it on GoDaddy or whatever if you don't like to have your own server. But your own server you could have for $200. Yeah, maybe 100. You can just get a used computer that the school is throwing away.
Okay.
Jack, do you have ideas for folks who are interested in learning more about this, about what we should do?
I can put my email on the chat and you can let me know. And then I will go from there.
Thank you.
I can't remember my email, but I'm getting it. Okay.
And about the chat, if you're on a computer and you can open up your the chat and you don't have to write all this down. You can push those 3 little buttons over there on the side next to file, and you can download this, save this chat today and all that. You don't have to write it all down. It's a nice thing.
Thank you for mentioning that. I was thinking that was the case, and then I couldn't remember how to do it.
But 3 buttons?
Where? Yeah, tell us that again.
Go to the chat, and at the bottom, you should see a button that says file, and then there's
3 dots is what they are.
Oh, 3 dots.
And you touch it and it says save chat, and then you don't have to write all of it down.
I'm not sure where it puts it, but allegedly, I suppose, on your computer.
Well, yeah, it goes to C drive and it goes to,
It's under Zoom.
yes, downloads, Zoom. Yeah. If you do a search for Zoom, I'm sure it'll help you find it, but.
Okay. Very good. Well, if you
I got to go too. I got a next Zoom coming up myself. I saw somebody say.
Yeah, I won't take up anybody else's time, but just to remind everyone that if you have things that you would like shared through our regional network, social media, website, things like that, just feel free to send me anything, and I will be sending out another note about these weekly webinars, and next week's will be on the PPP with Ann and myself. So if you're interested in learning more about that, I don't think we're going to do like signups or anything. It's just going to be show up if you want to learn. And try to keep it simple. And I'll also send out the topics for your prioritization and some notes about today for those of you who may not have saved the chat. So thank you all so much for attending and sharing what you all have been doing. It's really helpful to know, and hope everybody can just hang in there. And
Thank you for setting it up.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
nice to
thank
be
you.
reminded there's someone else doing this. It's easy to forget.
Right. You're definitely not alone. So y'all just hang in there and hope for the times to get better.
Nice to meet everybody.